Well, primary elections in Illinois are now less than 5 weeks away, I'm sure you know, and we continue to talk to candidates vying for your vote in some of the biggest races in our state. It's been 16 years since the people of Illinois elected a Republican to the U.S. Senate, but today we're talking to one of the people hoping to change that. Don Tracy is a former chair of the state Republican Party and Illinois Gaming Board. He's one of several candidates running for the GOP nomination in the Senate race. Good morning, Don. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, Dana. Thanks for having me on.
I really appreciate that. Let's just get right to it. You talk about reducing energy, gas, healthcare, and housing costs, but you also criticize current Illinois lawmakers for being focused on what you say is an extreme agenda. What is your definition of an extreme agenda?
Well, the Democrats' war on traditional, reliable, affordable energy. I mean, we're all environmentalists, but the far left Democrats are trying to go too green, too fast, and it's costing us all.
Is there a social component to your definition of extreme agenda, or no?
I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but Republicans are environmentalists. Remember, President Nixon, a Republican, started the EPA. But we are rational environmentalists, and we've been going green for a long time. I grew up in the 50s and in the 60s, and things were pretty polluted at that time. The air was polluted. There were smog alerts. I learned to ski in the Illinois River, and that was like an extension of the Chicago sewer. But things we've made a lot of progress, and we'll continue to make progress. But we can't go green overnight. It will bankrupt the country and our consumers.
So extreme agenda just means environmental to you?
No, it doesn't. It means the extreme approach to crime, to like the unsafety, what I call the Unsafety Act. I mean, that's increased the cost of living as well. The shoplifting has become an epidemic because of soft crime practices.
Data shows that actually the so-called Safety Act has not led to an increase in crime by those who have been charged with a crime coming back out and committing another. That has been an issue for a long time, but that the Safety Act isn't directly related to that. That's at least according to data that I've seen.
Well, you can talk about data all you want, and people talk about it a lot, and there's a lot of different data out there. But when you have a career criminal, been arrested 72 times, trying to burn alive Bethany McGee on the CTA red line, well, that's
awful.
That is absolutely awful. Or another career criminal who'd been arrested several times recently, taking a woman in a wheelchair, rolling her off the train and into the platform, and then rape her.
Examples.
Well,
many will argue it doesn't negate the efficacy of the Safety Act, but if it's okay with you, I'd like to move on to another subject.
Okay. Well, my state's attorney's friends would not agree with what you just said.
You're down.
And we need to change that. Yeah.
Okay.
We know all over. We need more. All felonies should be detainable. We need to give judges more discretion to keep those career criminals off the streets.
Let's move on to immigration. The Trump administration and DHS tactics for the immigration crackdown have raised a lot of controversy. You say securing the border is one of your top priorities. Do you agree thus far with the tactics being used by the DHS and Border Patrol agents? Would you support more of the same, or do changes need to be made?
Well, first of all, I fully support legal immigration. Secondly, it's under the Constitution, federal immigration law is the province of the federal government, not the state. I enforce immigration law enforcement, which has worked very well throughout the country, except in sanctuary cities. I lived in Memphis almost 8 years. They did the same thing. They did a surge down there, and it's worked very well.
So in the Senate, would you continue to support the current tactics being used in Democratic-led states like Illinois? You call them sanctuary cities, but they're still Democratic-led states. Would you support more of these same?
In sanctuary cities, immigration law enforcement is more of a challenge because of massive resistance, much like the massive resistance to civil rights in the South.
Guaranteed by the Constitution.
Yes, but the right to peacefully protest, not violent or aggressive protest. But anyway, that's a separate issue. But what I will say about enforcement in sanctuary cities is that the administration has not figured out how best yet to enforce immigration law in the sanctuary cities. I think that's pretty obvious. But with Tom Homan in charge, who remember was Obama's border czar as well, and given an award by Obama, and then Trump's czar in first term, and now he's back in charge. I'm confident that the administration will figure out a better way to enforce immigration law in sanctuary cities.
What about some other Trump administration policies overall? There's so many things he's done. He's imposed, tariffs on certain countries for various reasons. He has also cut funding for some pretty significant programs in Democratic-led states, particularly. We just learned yesterday disaster relief is denied for Cook County after some severe flooding. He's cutting, we learned today, $5.2 million of the administration to a program for new mothers at Lurie Children's Hospital. A lot of people say he is targeting Democratic-led states or blue states. Would you fight for Illinois and restoring that funding if you were in the Senate, or would you just go along with whatever the White House policies are?
I will certainly fight for Illinois. I'm running to be the U.S. Senator from Illinois, and I will be representing my constituents, and I will not be a rubber stamp for anybody.
Do you want President Trump's endorsement if you do win the GOP nomination?
I want the endorsements of the working families of Illinois. I want the endorsements of every voter of Illinois.
What about the president?
I will accept all endorsements, and I've gotten most of the endorsements, all but one, I think. All the endorsements in this race in the Republican primary have come to me. So I'll accept all endorsements, but the endorsements I want are the endorsements of the voters on March 17 and then in November.
Okay, so you would seek President Trump's endorsement?
I have not asked the president for an endorsement, and I don't plan to. But if I'm given that endorsement, I will accept all endorsements, all reasonable endorsements. I will accept an endorsement from the President of the United States.
Okay, there's so much I was hoping to get to, which I was fearing we would not because of our time constraints, but I hope we can continue the conversation later if you indeed get the nomination for the GOP Senate race. And I appreciate you, Don Tracy, for taking the time to be here.
Thank you, Dana, and I'll come back anytime. It's been enjoyable talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have reached out to other candidates on both sides of the aisle running in this race, and Friday we will speak with Don Tracy's Republican challenger, if you will, Pamela Denise Long, and we will speak with Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton at the end of the month, who's of course running on the Democratic side. You can watch our full interview with Robin Kelly as well on our website, cbschicago.com/election.